Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, my craft. Today I'm going to be doing a little card. I'm going to do the same design on two different colour backgrounds just so that you can see the contrast. This one I've done with brushos and I've used yellow, orange and scarlet. And this one I've done in an ombre effect using the Distress Oxides. So we've got saltwater taffy, kitsch, flamingo and wilted violet, and then I've just sprinkled that with a little bit of water. So I just thought it would be nice just to see the two different effects that you get when you stamp the same design. Right, to start with, I'm going to be using the berry wreath, and we're going to go in on this one. I'm going to be using the Twilight, and on this one I'm going to be using Nocturne. So if we start with some of that, then just ink up. Actually, I'm just going to put myself a bit of paper down for the over stamping. I'm just going to make a little scene. So if I start with up there, and I just thought the Twilight was better with this sort of background. I'm just going to build up a little bit of foliage, so we can come in on top of that. We don't need to worry because it doesn't detract, it just adds to the design on this one. Let's come up here a bit like that, I think. And then perhaps a little bit down here. So that's that one. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. Let's just stamp that off. Because I'm going with darker colour, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to clean the stamp. Got a nice little bit of foliage going on there. It's really fast. I'm going to use Twilight Fairy today, so I'm going to pop her in next. Start with the pink background. Let's pop her in there. Just give her a bit of time to transfer the ink. Lovely. Let's come in with this one. Great for batch making. There we go. So this bit of card that I'm working on, it's a quarter of an A4 size sheet of the Lavinia Multifarious card. Lovely. So we've got her. Then I'm going to stamp some of the mushrooms, and the mushrooms that I'm using today are the spotty toadstools. Let's pop that in there. I'm going to do my two-part colours again, so I'm going to put my Twilight on the top. And then for the stem, I'm coming in with the vintage sepia. don't want the whole stem right the way down to the bottom here, so I'm just going to mask that off with a little bit of paper, because I want to put some little hills in. So let's just pop that, let's put that there. Okay, we're going to colour it in a minute, so don't worry about the fact that it's not printed out quite so well. And then I've done some of my little masks, and if you watched my previous video or one of my previous ones, you'll see how I do those on the post-it notes, and I do them in a pile so that I've got 2 or 3 of them. Stamp this one off the side. And then I'm going to stamp another one in the background a bit. Ink that one up. Just going to stamp off. And pop that one. Another mask on there. I'm just going to stamp this one in the background. We also got 3 little mushrooms. And then I was going to stamp a bunny. Let's stamp a little bunny. Just there. This is from the Wild Hair set. Just goes my inks up a minute. And grab a block. Just give it a bit of time again for the ink to soak through. Oh, how cute's that? Right, so that's the pink one done for the moment. I'm going to come across now to the orange one. Going to do exactly the same process. We've done that one, haven't we? Nearly stamped the fairy again. So I'm coming with this one, and this time I'm going to use the black. So I can use the masks, and I'm just going to close up my ink pads. That one at least, anyway. Let's come back to the bunny. Oh, there we go. He's lovely. Right. So now what I want to do is I want to put some little hills and some grounding into each of these. So for this one I'm going to use some violet chalk, and I've cut a little hill mask. I'm just going to ground everything. So just start on your paper, drag down, very gently. Round our little bunny. And I think I want to put a few little hills in the background here. Just go gently because you can always add some more later. Yeah, that's that one. Now with the orange one, I'm going to use some candied apple, just so that we get that different look. And I have another little mask here. Got a bit of ink there. Never mind, we'll cover that over again in a minute. It's my signature, isn't it? A bit of ink somewhere. Perhaps bring that down. Let's have a look at that. So it's very subtle, that candied apple. But nothing wrong with subtle. Right, so that's that done. Next thing I want to do is colour in some of these little bits of foliage. What I do. Right, I'm just going to lose that a minute. So for this one, I'm going to use some pencils, and I've got just a watercolour pencil, royal watercolour there, in a bit like a navy blue and a red. So I'm just going to start colouring my mushroom. Right, so you can see with these, I have used watercolour pencils and I've layered up a few times because I'm not going to actually activate the watercolour. I'm just going to leave it as is because I don't want to affect all my background. So obviously I've done the blue for the mushroom. I should call them toadstools because that's what they are actually. And then I've just used a little bit of brown on the stem. And then just a little bit of red just to finish that off there. Now I'm just going to do the spots, and I think I'm going to use quite a nice vibrant red on these. There we are. So that's our little mushrooms done. And then I'm just going to do some colour on the berries up here. Just takes a little bit of time, this colouring, but you know, it's worth it in the end. You know I like colouring. I hope you do too. So I think I'm actually going to come in with a mixture of the reds on this one. So anything that's in the background you can just fade away by using a slightly darker colour. Right, so that's our little pink one finished. I'm going to do exactly the same with this one as well. This time I'm going to be using grey on the mushroom, and I'm going to be using the darker red. So I'll come back to you when I've done that. So here we are, I've done this one now then, with the grey pencils and the darker red, and I've also done the little berries around the side of this one. So that's what we're looking like at the moment. I wasn't too keen on the candied apple, so I've just come in and put a tiny little bit of hickory smoke on the top just to give a bit more definition to those little hills on that one. And that's what we've got at the moment with this one. So they're all looking, okay, but we need a bit of bling on there. We need a bit more something to bring it to life. So first off, we're going to do our little moon. So it's got my little moon mask. Just going to pop that there on this one, and I'm going to come in with the violet chalk. So just start on your mask again, just very gently pull out the colour off of the mask. So we can always add more, but it's very difficult to take it away. Let's have a look what's happening there then. Needs a tad more. I think that's probably going to be enough. Let's have a look now then. Yep, I always find that amazing how just that little dark rim around the side seems to pop the moon inside it to make it look brighter. And then on this one, I'll just quickly see if I can clean that mask off a minute. Don't want to drag that colour onto my orange one. Same again, we'll go with the candied apple and we'll see how we get on with it. Yeah, that's like a hot sun, isn't it, that one? Looks different. There we are. So I'm quite happy with that. I wanted to add a little bit more foliage to the here. So I've got a little hanging thing out of the foliage set, and I'm going to stamp that in Warm Breeze on both of them. And I never know which way this goes up or does it go down, and I don't think it makes much difference. Definitely stamp 2 or 3 times with the same lot of ink. So already that looks a bit more exciting than I had it just now. Just giving it a bit more depth. So now we've got that far, we're going to start to add the bling. Just lose that a minute. Now then, on this one, I'm going to come in with some glamour dust and some stardust stickles and the white pen. And also I've got a Wink of Stella brush. So to start with, I'm just going to do her wings, just to add that little bit of sparkle. we go. Then I'm going to add some white highlights. So let's go with, yeah, let's do some in her hair. So you don't have to follow the lines exactly, you can just add extra hair. Our lines here. See, that already gives it a bit of a pop now. It's quite therapeutic doing this. I hope you find it is too. So a little hair. Sometimes you just need to reactivate these. They pick up some of the ink of the card. Go for it. Ooh, that's not flowing very well at all. Let me have a look. I have a new one here. Let's try that. There we go. That makes a lot of difference. Give him a white tail. And an eye. That's lovely. Then I'm going to do a few on the mushrooms. Keep calling them that. They're actually toadstools. It just starts to bring it to life, you can see. Just dotting these around anywhere, really. Right. I'm going to add a little bit of grass on some of these tufts. I've got my fine liner. There we go. Don't want to overdo it and ruin it. So that's done. And I'm going to go with my quickie glue pen now then. Check that's running all right around the edge of the moon. There we go, let's just add in that bit of shine. What I should have done actually was go around my edge of my card first, which I'm just going to do now. And I'm going to use the Wilted Violet Oxide because that's the one I've used down here. Let's just find my right tool for the job. I picked up the wrong one. Right, yeah, I should have done this before I did the glitter, but there we go. In fact, it doesn't work on there very well, does it? There we go. Another hot tip. That's better. These little eggs pick up a lot of ink, which is quite nice if you want that, which I do. See the little white dots that we put on here is picking up some of the colour from underneath, which is really quite nice. So that's our Wilted Violet around the edge. I'm just going to clear the, oops, just going to clear my sheet off. And then I'm going to come in with some Stardust Stickles. And I'm going to do those in the little foliage at the top here. And this again will, the colour from underneath will bleed through when it's dry. So I'm not going to do all the berries, I'm just going to do a few. It's just beautiful, it's just like a little frosty moonlight. So hopefully you can see that. Any of the glitters will do, but like this one I've got, and I just thought that looks lovely. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to start on the orange one. Again, I'm coming in with my white highlighter pen. Just going to go through exactly the same process that I've just done with the pink one, and I'll come back to you. So there we are, I've done all the little white bits, etc. I've inked up around my, glued around my moon. I'm just going to let that dry. But I'm going to come in with a hickory smoke around the edge of this one, and this is just the ordinary distress, because I wanted a little bit more contrast than the candied apple. But I don't want too much. So hickory smoke, I think that's just enough to frame it. There we are. Lovely. And for this one, I've actually got some glamour dust in gold. So let's just do that. Excellent. Just lose a bit of this glitter off of here. And have I got a brush? Yes. Right, and then I've actually got some stickles in platinum. And I'm just going to do a few of these like I did with the other one. If the stickles works. Yes, they do. And this just keeps it in the same colour theme, if you like. Gold. So gold and oranges. Yellows. Beautiful. Just a few down here. Oops. There we go. Absolutely fantastic. Right, so here we are. Got one in warm tones and one in the cooler tones. There's that one. And there's that one. And you can mount them up how you like, obviously, and do what you like with them. But take your pick, whichever one you like. I hope that's giving you a little bit of inspiration. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you again next time. Bye now.